Okay.
Ronnie, did you want to hit record, Ronnie?
Yep, we got it. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so I have a few questions, but I'll start with my most important one. Can we run reports of new members within a date range and dropped members who renewed? So we can kind of, there's a lot of things that we're going to have to report on for the, what is that, Jenny, that we have to get?
Our chapter dashboard.
Chapter
Our chapter seal application.
Yeah, so are there reports that we can run that can get membership data that's a little bit more, I've looked and nothing looks really that comprehensive, but are there reports that we can run since those are required things?
Well, there's a number of reports. What chapter are you with? Let's take a look.
James City, Washington State.
Washington
NIGP. WA
Okay.
NIGP.
I'm just going to share my screen here. Okay, so you can all see my screen here?
Yep.
Okay, so if we go to control panel and then people and then reports, have you gone through all these to look at the membership info reports?
Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot unless you see something.
Not really that. I mean, you can do members by join date, but when I'm looking for something that I need to create, if I just go to data export under chapter, go to people, and then I look at usually the second or third option, and I get a spreadsheet that's got their join dates and their expiration dates, and then I just bring them in Excel and I generate whatever reports I need.
Okay, I like this. Thank you. So data export. And then active members. Great, thank you.
Yeah,
Can I go on to another?
Yeah, most of you don't have a need for this third option because it's really, like birth date information, anniversary date information, and spouse information. So that's usually not applicable to you guys. But so the second option is probably the best one.
Okay, I like that. And then speaking of
if
birthdays,
I could just jump in here, sorry, just to let you know that we also have a new training video that I just uploaded to our YouTube channel that David had done on the data export. So if you guys want to take a look at that, there is a new video in the channel. So
great, I will definitely look at that. Thank you guys so much. And speaking of birthdays, I know that we have 11 people of our 400 people that have given their birth date. And I don't recall if that's actually in our, I think it says something about if you want your birthday acknowledged, but I didn't see where we were actually getting the data. So like 11 people, it doesn't help us for
it really doesn't. Members. Yeah, if they provide their email address, or I'm sorry, if they provide their birth date, then it certainly makes it easier for you to get that information. Like if I were to just pull up a member here and go to their member information, if you're collecting birth date, it would be on here, or it can, because it can be stored in two different places. The standard member directory also, and then their birth date is here.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, so if they add it, then you could obviously, you have the power to do something with that information, but without it being on their profile, they don't.
Okay, gotcha. Then when, here's an easy one. What's the difference between active membership and active member?
An active membership would be one that is typically a primary secondary. So you would have like the agency situation. And the active member would be just a single individual member whose membership status was active.
That makes sense. Okay, I think I only have one more.
Okay.
If members who don't pay can't vote, how does the system track that?
They are considered active members until the end of whatever period you've set. So if we go into renewal expiration settings, you have it set so that they're going to remain active for 120 days after their expiration date. If if they were to try and vote within that period, they're considered active members, so they can vote. So if you then reduce that to maybe 15 days, for example, a much shorter time period, then after they truly expire at the end of that period, then they wouldn't be able to vote because only active, assuming that the survey you're using is set up to only allow active members to vote.
Okay.
But if it's an election, then it's only active members.
Great. That's all my questions.
Okay, good questions.
Thank you.
Trisha, you have your hand up?
I did. So I was trying to follow you, Michael, when you went to the data export, and I didn't find where that was.
It's under
Oh,
the
it's in
chapter tab.
chapter. Okay,
Yeah.
chapter
I know
tab.
I blow through things so quickly sometimes. I apologize.
Chapter tab, and it's right there. That's very self-explanatory. And then I don't know if this data expert would also help me, but for new members, how
Like,
could
you
I
mean
run a report?
to identify them?
Yeah,
Data export is going to be so valuable for that as well. However,
Okay.
there is a report under the people tab under membership info that is, I believe, new members suitable for Excel here.
oh, where did you go for that? Membership, you went to people.
I went to people and then reports and then membership info. And then it's
People,
new members.
Reports, membership info. New members, found it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
That was all my questions.
Okay.
Cheryl, you had your hand up?
Good morning, Tampa Bay chapter. I have a member who is not receiving the reset password link. I don't know if there's a way to manually set the password, but I've sent it to him 3 times. I've verified the email address. He is not getting it. I'm having him check his spam another time to make sure, but I didn't know if there was a way I could just manually reset it so he can get logged in.
Absolutely. What is this member's last name?
Frye, Frye. And that's the one.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this in 2 different steps here. We're going to
Okay.
go to his email address
Uh-huh.
and we're going to delete it. We're actually,
Okay.
I'm cutting it to the clipboard so that I can put it
Yep.
back later.
Okay.
So with no email address,
Okay.
then what I can do is click on reset password
Okay.
and it pops up on the screen.
Password changed. Okay.
Yep. And now I can copy this and shoot an email over to him for my email account.
77303.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't
That's
realize.
okay.
And then what you
So
do,
I can
obviously,
email him. So now you can pop his email address back
now we
in.
put it right back in. Yeah.
Okay. And then I will email him and tell him it's this password here so he can get logged in. Okay. So that's
Exactly.
the fix for that one. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Donna, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I have 2 questions. One's a follow-up about the data export screen.
Okay.
So there were several choices there. And I noticed that I think the 4th one down under people says active members with secondaries and tertiaries. So
Right.
if we want a list of everyone, even folks who are secondary members to a primary membership, is that the option we need to choose?
Actually, the second and third options will give you those same members. This 4th option, what it does is it puts the secondaries and tertiaries at the far right side of the spreadsheet. So they're actually looked like they're part of the same record with the primary. So it's just a different layout.
Okay. So
But
if
the
you
second
wanted
and
to
third
have that
options will give them to you.
okay. So you'll get kind of the same information in those 2 reports, but one of them will indicate the members that are secondaries.
Yeah, instead of
Okay.
instead of like member 1, member 2 being like in separate rows, you're going to have member 1, and then all the secondary and tertiaries for that member are going to be to the far right side of the spreadsheet instead of underneath as separate records. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that, like, because the secondary members are defined slightly differently, does that mean they're not going to show up in that other report? But it sounds like yes, it just will be
Yes, they
sorted
do.
in a different way. Perfect.
I find this fourth report to be pretty limited, and I haven't found much value in it personally, but somebody must have, otherwise they wouldn't have created it.
Sure. Okay, that's great. Thank you. My
Yep.
other question is more general. A lot of our members, especially those who work for state organizations, report to us that they have issues with getting the website to load. They get, I think it's a TCP timeout error a lot.
Okay.
And what I have discovered through investigation is that it seems to be related to the fact that we use virtual private networks or VPNs to connect. And so I personally experimented. When I have it on, it slows down and doesn't work. When I have it off, it works perfectly. So, but I have also gotten reports from folks who are just in their offices where they're not connected to a VPN, but they're still in our like protected network. And I
Right.
guess my general question is there anything we can do about that? Or do I just keep telling people, sorry that it's slow, please just try reloading
Well,
it until it works?
the problem is that it's not on our end. The problem is on their end. Because we don't have any performance issues. And as you discovered when you turn the VPN off, obviously you don't have any performance issues. Or when you're not behind the firewall of that organization, you're not having performance issues. So,
Sure.
the issue is somewhere behind the firewall of that organization.
Right. Is
So
there, if
yeah.
the entity, like, say we wanted to try and talk to IT about, hey, this problem is happening and this is a resource we want to use, what do we tell them? Is there language we should use to describe it? Do we just email them and say, hey, these websites are slow and we need to use them, help? Right?
I
Like, do you have any advice on what we can describe to them? Or
I find it works much easier if you tell them the problem you're having and how it's affecting your job, and then let them figure out what the problem is.
okay,
You know what I mean?
sure. Yeah,
Because it's much more impactful if you say, well, this is affecting my job and that I can't access these resources that I need to have access to.
sure,
And then they will then try to figure out why not.
sure. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yep.
Sean, you have your hand up?
Oh, yeah. Is my mic off? Oh, my mic is off. Good.
No, you're on.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for all your help. I'm from the Columbia chapter, which is in Southwest Washington and Oregon. So we haven't gone live with our site yet, and I'm in the middle of like communicating with our board on how we want to do a lot of things. So thanks for being so patient with me on that.
Sure.
And so my first question is that I put in all the board members, on the contact us page. And that's what I put for our contact us page. But we've been thinking about doing like a redirect and having like president at Columbia chapter. How would we set that up? Like so that the public.
The domain has to be in place first.
Okay.
Unless you have those emails already set up somewhere else, like with hosted email. If you don't, then we can set them up, but it has to be after the domain is pointing to the website. And then once the domain is set up, you're going to go to under communications.
Okay.
You're going to go to email accounts, and then there will be a list of 5 open slots here where you can create 5 email accounts. President at, treasurer at, info at, whatever you want.
Whatever we want. And we could do Columbia chapter NIGP. But there's another Columbia chapter, isn't there?
There could be.
No.
Yeah, I don't. But do you have a domain already, or do you not have one yet?
We have a domain, yeah.
So yeah, when you're closer to the end of the ready to launch, usually you do this like a week before you're ready to launch. And then you're going to point your domain to our name servers, and then from there we'll take it and we'll get everything set up. But you just have to let us know when you point your domain to our name servers.
Okay. And I've met with we now are hosted on a WordPress site, and we have this other consultant that helps us do all of this work, you know, like to get the web up. And what has happened is I can't do the redirect without asking them to do it.
Mhm.
And then they want to charge us this absorbent fee just for to do one thing. So I'm in a pickle. I'm going to ask our board at our board meeting on Thursday, like, what do you want me to do
Right.
for our
Yeah.
go live date? Like, can we just cut it off on June 15th and just say everyone is just going to be forced to go to the new chapter, or do you want to pay this fee and have this external contractor do the redirect for us? I'm just bringing this up that this is the pickle I'm in with all these decisions, because I don't want to make the executive decision for people who want to weigh in on it. And so
Sure.
that's where I'm at.
It's never easy. I'll tell you.
No, I'm finding that. I thought this would be really easy. Actually, the website is really easy to use. It's just the decisions on things that have
Yep.
been difficult for me. Okay, that's what I needed to know, and that's all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ginny, you have your hand up.
Hello, yeah, no problem. So Sean, actually, can I answer your question?
Yeah.
So
Answer
when we
in-
switched, when we switched 2 years ago, we literally just bombarded our members a reminder that we're switching and that they need to do certain things. And I might have to go dig a sample of that email, but we had to just keep sending it over and over and until almost to the day that we switch. Because we
Okay.
needed to tell them how important it was that they kept their transcript from the old website, because we're trying to do our best to transfer things. But at the end of the day, they're going to be responsible for their records. So it's almost like a record retention, right? But yeah, we basically said you need to register by this date, or you're going to start from scratch. So do the best you can to just do whatever you need to do and give them a deadline. Because then that at the end of the day, it's not going to be your responsibility. It's going to be their responsibility because you've done all you can. So
Well, thank you.
I can do that in my office.
yeah. So my question,
I hope I don't have my thing on.
yeah, you're still not muted.
Oh, sorry, I'm still have my hand up. I need to lower my hand.
So Michael, my question is, can we go back to one IGP?
There you go.
Yeah, great. So on our events, do you mind looking into the events for June 13th? We're trying to run a report because this particular event, this particular event, we're trying to extract the responses from our attendees. And by the way, shameless plug, we are inviting everybody who wants to join us there. If you don't have an emerging or young professional program, we're going to use this event as more of a training event as well. So, but yeah, we see how I built these questions.
Yeah.
What is the best? I understand there's a difference between when we extract a report via CSV versus Excel. Like the CSV supposedly is like the more preferred. For some reason, it pulls.
Yeah, I
reports a little
would
bit
actually.
different.
CSV is not preferred if you're talking about reports.
Okay.
CSV, the kind of like the problem is that when we're running reports, we use a package behind the scenes called Crystal Reports, and some of you may be familiar with that. CSV versions of Crystal Reports are in many cases not usable. The data is not formatted correctly, the headings aren't correct. They end up being a hot mess. So we've started building in all these exports. And you're going to start to see as we move away from CSV versions of reports, you're going to start to see the expansion of our exports so that you're going to be able to do that. So that's really where you need to be getting that information from. That makes sense?
Watch what this one shows and see if it looks like what I'm looking for. So we're trying to figure out geographically where the attendees are coming from, east to west, because we're
Yep.
going to do a breakout.
Uh-huh.
So it would be lovely to see. I've looked at the Excel format, and it's like I say, it's a little harder to make it look like the way we want it. And
that's because you're probably using the wrong thing. So if I'm going to show you, let me see if I can get it. So here is your registrant data from this event, right?
Okay.
So I got this using exports, and I exported the registrant data. So now if you look at it, this is the event. And as we scroll to the right, now you're getting the answers to those questions, the geography, the chapter.
Okay.
Is that that's what you're looking
Yeah.
for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
And the represented chapter.
Yep.
Okay, great. That's good. That's awesome. Great. Thank you for that.
Yep. You're welcome.
I don't see any hand up. Is there anyone who has a question for Michael? No, no questions? Michael, did you wanna, oh, sorry, did anyone
No,
speak?
go ahead.
Nope.
I will
Okay.
ask later. I would like for
Michael,
you guys to present.
so Michael, I don't know if you wanna pull from our list of things to talk about. One thing I would mention, just to let you know, because I did mention the new data exports video that's in the playlist. We also just released, for those of you who are struggling to build out your like an annual conference or a reverse trade show where you have both your attendees and your suppliers or sponsors. We've released a multi-activity event training video that is also on the YouTube channel, and these just came out this week. So just to let you know about those. So
Cool. All right. So let's talk about the system emails. That's the first thing on my list here. So if we go to control panel, communications, system emails, a couple of questions have come up recently about system emails. And if you go into the system email manager, I mean, there's a ton of emails. In fact, my list is much longer than the list you're going to see. So you can ignore most of these because they don't apply to you. But if you click on this gear that says configure email defaults, you can actually set up a from email address, a from name, a reply to email address, and a reply to name. That way, it's nice so that if somebody replies to the email, it's going to somebody's real live email account. In a lot of cases, if you don't set these or set them at the individual email level, then those emails are coming from ClubExpress. And in many cases, the reply email address is support@clubexpress.com. And so if people reply, it's going to go to support, and our support team isn't really going to know what to do with it. So, but so that basically, this is a global setting, right? For the email defaults, but you can also set an individual setting. So if I were to go to the renewal notices and click on the blue handled wrench, I can set the same information, but only for that one emailing. And then another thing that's nice is that I can turn on track opened emails. So I can actually see when I actually get a report to see who it was sent to and whether it was opened or not. But it has to be turned on before the emailing goes out. It doesn't do any good to turn it on afterwards. So that's very handy. Another thing that's handy is this send system tag test email. If you click on it, put in your email address, you're going to get an email from our system that has all of your system tags and the values that they currently have. So if you have some system emails where the tags aren't being replaced, use this, send this self to you, and you're going to get all of the system tags, their current values, and you'll be able to see which ones are not currently set. And then, you can reach out to support to get help in as far as sending where to set them, because most of them are set in, they're set. If we go to the chapter tab and go to contact us, this is where a large majority of them are set, but not all of them. So it's kind of, it's a nice way to be able to handle that for the system emails.
Does anyone have any questions about that? No questions, Michael?
Okay. The next thing that we think we should probably go over is on the support tab. There is a getting started section here. And then for if you're relatively new to ClubExpress, obviously the getting started with ClubExpress is good. Getting started with the content editor is good because this is for how you're editing custom pages in your homepage. Getting started with control panel and dialogues, it's kind of handy because it kind of walks you through the thinking between how we developed them, which may help you to understand where to find things. So if you struggle with, I need to find text messaging, but I don't know where to look. Well, then if you have some background into how we think about it, then you know that, oh, well, it's part of communication, so it's under the communications tab. And then there's some basics on getting started with the member profile, and then there's a user reference too. So if you want to send something out to users, there's user help guides too. So this is handy if you have users who are, really new to the site. The most important thing that they're going to be working with is their profile. So, there's a user guide there that you can help them, you can send to them if they're struggling with how to use their profile. And then, of course, on the right, we've got videos. These are more for admins, but they also have user videos. You can see a list of the recent videos. So we've got the contact log, expense reimbursements, if you have the expense reimbursement module. Template builder, there's a lot of things that the tool has that you probably aren't taking advantage of, and you may not even know exist because, overall, a lot of you are relatively new to using the platform.
Michael, I think I had seen something where there was a page on ClubExpress where you could provide to your users who are new to using the site on how to go use their profile and stuff like that, right?
Like I guess, like if I'm a user and I'm logged
Yes.
in and I go into my profile, like I don't have a profile on here, so it's hard for me to show it. But let's say a user is in their profile and they're not sure what to do. If they can also click on the question mark and go to the help, and it's going to take them to the user side of the help. Navigating your profile, how to change things. What do I do if I have a bad email address? Is that kind of what you're thinking of, Ronnie?
Yes, exactly. Because I have
Okay.
heard from chapters who are like, how do we educate our users on how to use the site? So this is definitely a good place to explain, right? So
Yeah.
you could actually even put something on your site saying, if you have questions, click the question mark, right?
You're right.
So-
Yeah.
So that people understand that. So
Yeah. But the system knows if you're in your profile and you click on the question mark, then it knows you're looking for the user side of the member's profile. Whereas if you're in control panel or you're in people manager and you click on the question mark, then it's going to take you to the admin side and you're going to be using it. You're going to get help from the perspective of an admin. That makes sense?
absolutely.
And then what we were looking at, cleanup tools. That was a good one. If we go into people manager, and if we go into member options, under member options, there's some cleanup tools. And you can start matching people on different criteria. So you can say match to active by street address, match expired to active by first and last name, match expired to active by email address and first name. So you can start to look for duplicate members within your database. Where I think it's really handy too is if we go back to People Manager and go to non-member options and go to cleanup tools. Now you have a bunch of non-member cleanup tools as well. So you can say match a non-member to a member by email address and first name. And so you can start to look. I'll tell you what happens. When you have events that are set up for members and non-members, a lot of members, I'm not going to say all of them, but a lot of members are a little bit lazy and they won't log in. So they will register as a non-member and you're going to end up with a non-member record for them. But you also know that they're a member. So this is a great way to go in and clean up every now and then and say, okay, match my non-members to members by email address and first name. And you're going to see that Michael at clubexpress.com is in there twice. It's in there as a member and a non-member. And you can see all the people where that just, in this case, there's 26 sets. So Now what you can do is you can use the functions and say, well, merge all the non-member records into a member. Or in this case, we got 5 non-member records and 1 member record. And you can merge all 5 non-member records into that 1 member record. And the nice thing is that the history comes with them. So if this is because of event registrations, then that event registration history is going to be moved from the non-member records into that member record. So you can still see that they did attend those events. A nice way to clean things up.
Hey, Michael, can you hit that automatic merge for us?
Do the automatic merge?
Yes,
I'm going to
please.
read the automatically merge all email first duplicates and all transactions. Those we match the. Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, awesome.
There you go.
Stacy and I were talking about that this week.
Yep. 0 sets found now. So good. So then you can search by other criteria too. You got some others based on just first and last name. So in those cases, it's a little more careful. You want to be careful to make sure that it really is, because there are a lot of people with very similar first names and last names. So you just want to make sure they truly are duplicates. So I'll let you guys go through and you can play around with those. So
Does
any
anyone
questions
have
about
any?
the cleanup tools? There's another thing too, like if we go in and we're going to search for non-members here, and let's say you've got Shaylin Schmidt here, and you know that she is also a member. If you just want to do it on a case-by-case basis, you click on this more options, and you can merge with a member, or you can merge with a non-member record. Or you can convert them to a member. So let's say it's somebody who's been a non-member for a while. They've attended a couple events as non-members, but they want to become an active member. You can actually go in and convert them to a member. And when you do that, you have to assign them to a member type and enter their email address and all that other type of information. But it makes it very easy for you to take, a member or a non-member and convert them to an active membership.
And would you recommend searching? Because sometimes we only search that active expired because that's what's the default, right? So
Yeah.
is it making sure to search both the non-members when you're adding a new member or adding somebody to make sure that they're not existent so that there's no duplicate records, right?
I think it's wise to do that, yeah. Because in the case of like Ms. Schmidt here, if I were to look for members and non-members for Schmidt, oh, did I spell it wrong? Maybe I spelled it wrong. SCHMIDT, huh? SCH. It's funny that she's not showing up in the list.
Oh,
Oh, because she has a space.
there you go.
There she is. So yeah, this is a great way. If you're searching both, then you can search. And if you search on a bunch of different statuses too, you'll be able to see whether they exist in another status. So maybe it's somebody who signed up as a new member, but for whatever reason you dropped them because maybe they moved out of the area or whatnot. So you can decide whether you want to activate their old membership or bring them back in as a new member. Totally up to how you think the data is going to be most relevant.
Sean, you have a question?
Yeah. Speaking about this duplicate thing, I know that Tessa, we sent over a membership list. I'm afraid there's going to be duplicates, and I can't remember what screen I was on, but I was seeing that everyone who I had added in there that was a board member, I think they have 2 profiles, and I can't figure out how to delete the duplicates.
So when you find somebody who is a duplicate, let's go, I'm just going to go through the motions here. I'm not actually going to do it, but what you're going to do is you're going to click on their status, whether it's bulk loaded or active or expired or whatever. You're going to click on this status, and you're going to, oh, this is a secondary member. We got to do a primary. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose drop. And then this reason code is going to be usually duplicate.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just having a problem. What I can't figure out is that I know they're out there because on this one screen I saw like Anthony Blackman was number 10 and number 30. And so that meant that they were 2 places and I was 2 places, but I can't get both of them to come up. And I can't pull them both up.
Is this in Washington or one of the other chapters?
This is with Columbia chapter.
Columbia. Okay.
Sorry.
So
I'm in a different jurisdiction. Yeah. And I'm not sure why I'm not seeing it and where were my notes? Like Julia Fraser.
okay,
She's
Anthony
number
Blackman.
10 and
So
124.
So I've got Anthony Blackman. He's number 11 and number 20. Number 20 record is bulk loaded, and his number 11 record is active. So that's probably one of the ones that you added.
Yeah, I want to get rid of all. How come it came up for you but not for me? And
You probably weren't searching
anything
for. You weren't searching for this status of bulk loaded.
Oh, how
One of
do
his records is still bulk loaded.
Okay, so how do I do that?
See where it says where member status it was before it was saying active, expired. I chose check all. That way I can see all the different statuses and I can just look for the last name then.
Okay, member status.
Michael, are you going to show her how to merge them?
Yeah, we can do that.
Perfect.
Member status. Okay, member status both. Okay, here we go. Bulk loaded is the other one. Okay, yeah. How do you merge them in case I have to do that? I hope I don't have to.
Well, which one do we want to keep?
I want to keep the active one.
Okay, so then you just go to member options, cleanup tools. Oh, you know what? It's not going to find it because that one record isn't active yet. So what?
But wait a
then
second. How would I merge them? How would I do that? Because I know
Well,
how to
if-
just delete.
You'd have to make them active first. So we do activate. We're not going to generate a password because we don't want him to log in. Okay, so now he's active. So now if we go to cleanup tools and we look for, it didn't find him. Is his name spelling different?
It should be B Blackmon MON.
Yeah,
That's it.
they are spelled the same. Maybe the email address is different.
I noticed the other one is, oh, well.
AI Blackman1 at Gmail.
Oh, he's using a Gmail one, and then he's probably.
And then
using
this one is AI Blackman1 at Gmail. It's a capital A. I wonder if that's the problem. Capital versus lowercase. That'd be silly. Yeah, it is capital versus lowercase.
Okay.
Well, that's annoying. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to change it so they match.
That's.
Yeah, it's still not finding it. Isn't that weird?
Well, it's only a
Anyway,
handful of
so
people.
basically what you would do then, if you can't find it, then you're going to go to the one you want to get rid of. You're going to say drop, duplicate, and then you're going to move all transactions to another member.
Oh.
And then you're going to select his other membership.
Okay.
Number 11.
Perfect. Okay.
And then when you say, and I'll let you do it, but when you save it, then you're not going to see that one record any longer.
Great. But you'll never have that number again.
Number 20?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you go in and change it. You know, you can change a member number. So if you want to put 20 back into circulation, then just put something after it that makes it unique so that you can't use it anymore. So 20ZZZ or something, or 20 dupe because it was a duplicate, or however you want to do it, doesn't matter. But that's enough to make it unique. So if you want to at some point make them another person member 20, you can do that. You can reuse that member number.
Okay, I'm trying. Yeah, I will ask our board what they want to do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Michael, I have a question then on that. So does that mean that when it says we have 426 members, that maybe we don't, because maybe we have some that were duplicates or they were test ones that I need to go in and clean out?
And
Are
this
you
might
talking
be
about
Russian.
In
Our member
control
numbers
panel
aren't
when it tells
accurate?
you? You're talking
Uh-huh.
about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that tells you it's just the active members. And if there are duplicate active members, then yes, they'll
Yeah.
also be in there. But if they're
Yeah.
bulk loaded, they're not going to appear here. If they're expired, they're
You
not
don't
going to
have to
appear
if you
here.
have something to do. You don't
What was
have
that?
to if you have something to do.
You don't have to do what?
No, I just muted, sorry.
Oh,
That was
okay.
Yeah,
I thought you was talking to us. Sorry.
nope.
Okay.
So does that help clarify things a bit? Yeah, this is weird because you've got active memberships 14. Right. And that's kind of the origin of that question that you guys were asking about, right?
Mhm.
You've got actually 100. Well, let's look at active. Now you've got 14 active members.
Okay, so it'd be the difference between like active records and total records. We're just never gonna have a number 20 again. May not be important because we can always pull who's active and the total records we have in there. And they just will have just different, that unique identifier is just a unique identifier. We just won't have that anymore.
Right.
Okay. I mean, that's
Yep.
how
Well,
we have a
this-
supplier portal that's similar. So I'm gonna equate it to that. So the
Okay.
Michael, this might be a good time to show the dashboard so that where they can find that information on the dashboard in terms of the charts, right?
Sure. Yeah. I don't think we've ever really covered the dashboard, but if you go into control panel and go to dashboard, there's a number of different modules that you can add to the dashboard. And all you have to do to add them is click on configure, and you can go down through the list and see what modules that you want to add. You say member status counts, we'll pop it over there. We'll say revenue by account, because maybe sometimes that's important. And then you just get more dashboard items.
There isn't much there just because you guys haven't launched your site yet, but
Yeah.
yeah.
we're
If we
working
were
on it. I
looking at
really
more-
want to.
If we looked
Yeah.
at a more active site, you'd see a little more data there.
Trisha, you have a question?
Oh, wait, do I have a
Yes,
question?
so I am trying to get a list of active members.
Hmm.
So I did that data export and I get 725.
Active members, okay.
Yeah, but on my control panel, it says active memberships 573, pending 5 and expired 147, which adds up to the 725. But if I'm running an active member report, why am I getting expired members? And I'm sorry if this question
Which-
has already been asked.
No, which chapter are you in? We can take a look.
Sample.
Do. Okay, so you have 573 active members, 573. Yeah, okay. And if we go to People Manager and look at just your active members, we get 573 people. And if I go to the data export and look at active members,
That's the one I ran.
okay. It's just opening in Excel now.
Which the 725 makes sense because from our old website, it was 712.
Oh, you know why? Do you have Because I get the same thing at 720. Do. Which ones is it missing?
I tried to go down and search to see if there's expired, but they all said active on that spreadsheet.
It says you got 573. Oh, do you have tertiary members?
No, no, they
No, there
shouldn't.
wouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's really strange. Let me take a look here.
Maybe some are there wouldn't be that many extended, I wouldn't think.
It wouldn't, well, it shouldn't matter. They're active or they're not. I don't know. That's really a head scratcher there. I don't know.
So the report is saying that you have more active members than what is in the system. Is that correct?
I got
Yeah.
724 in the export.
Are they duplicates? But why would the data experts? Yeah, I don't know.
Would you really have 200 duplicates? Or 150 duplicates?
Can you search their duplicates and see if they have?
Yeah, I'm going to search here.
Sort
So
by
let me,
last name.
this way you can take a peek at what I'm doing here. All right, so I'm going to sort last name. Like Anderson's not duplicate.
I
No?
don't see any.
Yeah, that is so weird. I have no idea. Let me look into this because this is a huge discrepancy. It just doesn't make sense.
I
And
agree.
you have all individual memberships.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I have to do a report this week. I'm going with the 724.
Okay. I'm going to look
But-
at something else too. Let's say nothing. That is so weird.
Could something have happened in the download or upload?
I'm looking at your upload file just to see if I can see how many we submitted, because you guys, this is like last week, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just opening that file to see how many we sent over to you, Michael.
Oh, wait. No, that's not right. Okay. I'm baffled. I have no idea. I will do digging into this and figure
Okay.
out what's going on. And then I'll have to let you know because I have no idea.
Not a problem. I don't want to hold up the class either.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem.
Jenny, you have your hand up?
Yes, hopefully this is a quick fix. So, Michael, we sent out an email where we ended up using or creating a template for it. But then the second time we reused that template, we used the tag feature where it says hello and then you insert the name, first name
Yep.
of the person. So the second time she previewed it, it looked like it was showing the person's name, but then when it sent it out, it said, hello, first name. And we're like,
Yeah.
uh-oh, that's not what we meant. So is it because she used the template and then she has to re-enter the tag button or not? I'm the Washington.
No, it's because when she created the new emailing, she didn't go into the edit basics and enable personalization. It's off by default. You can turn it, you can make it on by default, but
Oh, okay.
out of the box, it's off by default. So if we go to emailing, click on configure,
Mhm.
and then you're going to want options. Is it options? Let me just make sure. It's not on that.
Okay, templates. This is another way to go.
Yeah, it isn't.
Templates. Okay.
Yeah, but basically when it was created, if you go into edit basics, if you don't enable it,
Okay.
right here, personalization allowed,
Okay.
then it's
Oh,
just
it
going to
was
look like a
literally the one
tag.
button. Okay, it's literally the one button. But you
Yeah.
have to do it every time. But you can't
Yes.
set it so it's automatic, or it's just part of the steps
Yeah,
that you need to
it
do.
is. It doesn't look like it's automatic.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's easy fix. Thank you for doing
Yep.
that.
Sure.
So we have, and sorry, can we go back to the Washington State chapter? I guess I have a question on also on that same breath. When we
Here we are.
created some of these templates, yeah, if we can go under communications, I think. Yep. Okay, I like this that you're telling us to actually go to templates, and it's always best to go that way because I think we just went right into like emailing something. I didn't go
Okay.
right to the template. So this is great. I'm glad you're showing this. So if we are going to create a template, this is the best way to get in there is, can you go ahead and add template? I mean, now that you're in here, I might as well keep going.
Okay.
Okay, so it kind of lands over here. All right. So I noticed this one has elements, element style versus the other button. The other way we were going, it had a template inside there that somebody
Correct.
already built. And so
Yep.
we added from there. But this is, would you say the best practice to create something from scratch if we were going to create a template?
If you need to create it from scratch, this is a great way to do it. If you need to
Okay.
create it from an existing template, then what I would do is go into the emailing itself, create an emailing, and then drag over the template that you want to use as your guide, right? And then start modifying it, and then scroll down to the bottom and save it as a template.
Okay, and that's what we've done that as well. Okay,
Yeah.
we're building a library of templates right now because we don't want to have to reinvent the wheel and all of that stuff. So this is great. Thank you for the 2 ways. Awesome.
Sure.
Appreciate that.
So Michael, I know what the situation with Sampo is. I sent you a file with 714 names, but with
Okay.
different expiration dates, right? So we had some that expired in their perspective, their 2023 versus 2024. So they weren't all active members.
Yeah, but in this data file that I'm looking at, all 720. Oh, wait, that's a different member, different file. What am I doing now? Now I've got 573 members that are active.
Yeah, so that's probably right based on the sheet that I sent you. Because I sent you 714
Right.
names in the upload file, but not all of them had an expiration date of 12/31/2024.
But then why did that export have 700 some odd members in it?
That I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Well,
bizarre.
something to look into.
Yeah.
Well, we have once again gone through another club office hours, and we are going to do this in 2 weeks' time. I do want to let people know that I am going to be sending out an email to everyone. We are going to be offering another quarterly training session like we held in February for new administrators with Devin from the ClubExpress training team. And this one is going to be on communications. And Devin is going to delve deeper into mailing lists events and that kind of thing, as well as the forums and the news module and that kind of thing. So I will send out more information just to give everybody a heads up. I will probably, I don't have a date for it yet, but it will be coming sometime in June. So thank you for joining us, everyone. Thank you, Michael.
You're
I
very
will
welcome.
post the recording to this on our YouTube channel, and we'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you
all for
guys.
coming.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Fine.